Hello, good afternoon. This is Will from Will to Trade. Today is Tuesday, August 16th, 2016. I want to make a follow-up video to an amazing stock runner today, stock ticker STEM. That is stock ticker STEM from Stem Cells Incorporated. You can check us out at Will to Trade at our website at www.will2trade.com. Fill out the form, get invited for a 2 free-week trial to our site where you'll get updates and alerts to stocks like these, stocks that run really big and stocks that run just a little bit as well. So I made a video on STEM earlier today, just after it had peaked at the 80-cent marker and it was forming its cup when the stock was around 73, 74, 75 cent, before it had breaking the cup, and letting members know, or letting, I guess, viewers know in that video, hey, I'm pretty sure this is going to break above the 80-cent mark and it's going to have some more moves. And moves it did. I want to go over some of the numbers on STEM, just kind of basically my interpretation of what happened today. STEM has a relatively low share float, about 11 million shares. That's low enough that a stock like this can definitely make some moves. It had really huge relative volume. Relative volume was about 95. In my personal definition, if a stock has relative volume of about 100 or more, I call that a screamer. So this stock was pretty much in screamer status. And just because you have a lot of relative volume doesn't guarantee the price will go up. But sometimes it certainly can, and today it certainly did. STEM also had some pretty interesting news, a merger with Israeli company Microbot Medical. I'm not familiar with that company, but obviously that news was interesting enough that traders got excited and went ahead and traded this. The total volume on STEM traded today was 58 million shares. That is basically number 3 out of every single stock in the whole universe of U.S. stocks, at least. Number 1 being Bank of America with about 80 million shares traded. Number 2, Chesapeake Energy Corporation with about 77 million shares traded today, and STEM at 58 million. So huge relative volume, low float, interesting news, huge total volume. Lots of halts, lots of traders excited, a lot of activity, a lot of chatter. Basically gave us the results you're looking at today. And I want to pull up historical. Some of you live in the 1-minute chart. Some of you live in the 5-minute chart. Some of you look at historical. I call it historical. It's basically when to go back for the whole year on a daily. And you can find some interesting things. You notice here the price has obviously been much higher and then it fell. You can see there was a 1-for-12 split. But the most interesting thing to note is that it dropped, and there's a huge gap down. I had not been following STEM back here, about 3 months ago or so. So I'm not really sure of all the details of why they dropped or what happened with the company. You can certainly look that up. But notice this huge gap, huge gap. It gapped all the way down and had been pretty flat at about the 30-cent, 40-cent range. And then here's today. Now, not every stock will fill the gap. Not every gap will get filled. But stocks want to fill their gaps, and stocks try to fill their gaps. And it's possible that stocks can fill them if they're able to. And coincidentally, that's what STEM did today. Here's today's move, and look at that. It filled the entire gap. I find this pretty fascinating. I find it pretty interesting how this, just kind of somehow happens. And notice that there is definitely quite a bit of resistance here at the $3 marker. Look at all these days, right around that $3 marker, just right below $3, right here $3. So there's definitely a lot of, resistance there, holding there, just above, just at that $3 mark. And coincidentally, today STEM got to $2.99. So, it had a big gap to fill, a big gap it could fill. Low share float, tons of volume, tons of relative volume, interesting news, lots of chatter. Basically, everything was positioned for the stock to run and run, and run it did. So, as you know, in my earlier video, I did alert it here to buy at this blue line and then to sell here at this blue line. Basically, if you're quick, you can get in and out in one candle, unbelievable, one candle, and grab 10% gain. If you were really on it, you could have gotten in earlier and then get out here and make an even bigger gain in this first ramp up. So what I want to do really quickly in this video, in the few minutes that we have left, is just talk about the different ways to trade a stock like this. There are many ways to trade a stock like this. There's no one or right or wrong way to trade a stock like this. really, at the end of the day, whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with. Some traders are morning traders, and they're only going to trade just here in the morning. Some traders, they will wait. They will not trade anything in the first half hour, first hour of the market. They see this, waiting, and they'll trade right in here, right? Okay, so you have traders that just trade here. You got traders that just trade there. Some traders, they live for the quote-unquote power hour, the last hour of the day, and they may just trade in this hour. Other traders are going to wait for midday, and they may jump in here and then jump out there, or jump in here and jump out there. And then the other extreme, you have your traders that love to do an all-day hold. They're going to buy somewhere in the morning, and they're going to sell somewhere in the afternoon. This ended up being a pretty good all-day hold opportunity where you could buy 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 cents, and then sell 260, 270, 280, making about $2, give or take, per share. Pretty amazing gains. May not seem like it, but it's pretty amazing gains. To put in perspective, if you bought 1,000 shares and you made $2 per share, you just made $2,000 in one day on one trade on one ticker. Pretty cool, in my opinion. If you bought 10,000 shares, that's a lot of shares. But guess what? When you're only paying 70 cents a share, that's just $7,000, right? And then you can sell here at the end of the day for like 27,000, and that's an amazing gain. So my hat's off to anyone that did that today, buying here and then selling there. So the other way to trade a stock like this. So let's just recap really quick. You can trade just in the morning. You could trade just in the midday. You could trade halfway through the day. You could trade just in the afternoon, or you could buy in the morning, hold, and then sell at the end of the day for your all-day hold. So these are just a few different ways to trade. Again, every one of these ideas are going long. Or you can trade the way a lot of our members like to trade, a lot of day traders like to trade, jumping in, jumping out, scalping, locking in profits, putting the profits back in your pocket, putting the profits back in your account. The reason for this is because we just don't know. We just don't know how far a stock like this is going to run. I mean, you could buy here first thing in the morning, anticipate, it's going to run, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe the stock just pitters out as soon as it gets up here, then falls all the way down, and you're like, hey, what's going on? Why is this stock back down to 30 cents? I bought it at 60 cents. Come on, are we going to get up to $2 plus? And it never does, and then you're forced to sell for a loss, and you're kicking yourself thinking, why didn't I sell when I was in the profit zone? So let me just go over really briefly some of the really obvious trading moves, if you will, on this particular ticker. Buying in here, selling in there. So the first leg obviously becomes one of them. Let me switch to our 5-minute view, and I think they become really obvious. So you can jump in and jump out right there in the first leg. That's one jump in, jump out point where you can make anywhere from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Pretty amazing. And then you could literally just wait for this marker here, so where I loaded the room for a second time to get in. And this goes up, what are we talking, like 20, 30, 40, 50? It's just almost doubles, I should say, almost doubles. If you got in at 75 cents and then it goes to $1.50 plus, yeah, that's pretty intense. Really, really intense. If you're buying a bunch of shares, like even $5,000 worth of shares here at 75 cents and say, I'm going to sell if it gets to 150, you just made $5,000 profit in this move here. So you got one move here where you can jump in and jump out. You got a second move there where you can jump in, jump out, and then it pulls back. And then at the moment there, let me just kind of look at it like this. Yeah, at this moment, in this snapshot in time, one could say to themselves, hey, I guess that's it. We had one ramp up here. We had a second ramp up there. It was fun. It was exciting. It was thrilling. And I guess it's over. Red, not a big old wick. Not looking too good. I guess it'll pull all the way back down and game over. If that were to happen, a trader could say, you know what? I'll buy if and only if we can break this high today. I don't know if we're going to, but if we do, then we push to another leg. And guess what? There it is. Boom, right there. It does exactly that. You could jump right back in at the 150, 155, 160 marker and really push as high as to the 290s. So you have 1, 2, 3 major legs where the stock really pushes. This almost doubles, just barely almost doubles. If you get in at 150 just before the push here, I mean, it goes just a penny below the $3 marker. I mean, you could double in here. You could almost double in there. Not really quite double there, but still do pretty well there on 1, 2, 3 major moves. And you could jump in and out on this particular move, but as you can tell, really big range right there. And then it pulls back there and then gives an opportunity for a fourth. Let's see if we can zoom. There we go. For a fourth trade here. I think this particular trade is slightly more complex than the previous trades because we never really break this high a day, and you're sort of forced to trade inside of this chop, inside of this cup, if you will, where another trade could have occurred. As you can say, you know what? Hey, if we can break this 299, go to $3 or 301, you know, I'm there for the ride. The push up to the 315, 330, 350, you know, whatever. And it certainly could have if it broke the $3 marker, but obviously there was a lot of resistance at $3. All right, and now here we are in the after hours where it's fallen off a little bit, to say the least, and consolidating at the 190 marker. As I'm making this video, I have to be straightforward. I have no idea what this is going to do tomorrow. I really don't know. You know, I knew that it was going to break the 80 cent and have some kind of a move. But looking at this today, you know, it's so difficult to predict these second day moves. You know, it could retrace all the way to $1, and that's it. It had like one day of glory and then pull all the way back. It could open up at $3. It could push to $3. It could explode even more tomorrow. It could go to freaking $10 tomorrow. You know, anything is possible. Because tomorrow is a whole new day and no one really knows what's going to happen with tomorrow. A lot of traders really like to sell by the end of the day. Obviously, there's traders that want to hold and say, "Hey, I'm not Will. Why would I sell? Why would I sell? It's going to go to $6, $10. I'm going to ride it all the way up." And if it does and it happens and you make those gains, great. But for me personally, I have a hard time predicting, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. I have a little easier time kind of predicting what's going to happen just, you know, within the day. So with that being said, you know, again, there are, yet again, more ways you could trade this. You know, you could buy in here and sell there, or you could buy here and hold all day and still be holding. You may be kicking yourself saying, "Hey, why didn't I sell here?" And now you're down there, but still be holding. So let me recap how many different ways, just basic ways there are to trade going long. You could buy this and hold for multi-days, as we just outlined, which I don't really recommend because you don't really know what's going to happen at the end, you know, tomorrow or the next day. It definitely feels like a little bit more of a gamble. A second major way is to buy in the beginning of the day and hold through all of this and then sell at the end of the day. It's hard for me to really justify that kind of a trade unless the stock is just in a very clean upward progression, up as the day's going. So it's a little scarier for a lot of traders. Or you could trade in the way that I mentioned, where you jump in, jump out in one move, in a second run, in a third run, and a possible fourth run. So many ways to trade a stock like this. So much opportunity to be had. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you love the video, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you are interested in joining our room, we are giving a 2-week free membership trial, so you can check it out. Just simply go to will2trade.com, fill out the form, and we'll get you all taken care of. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.